All right. How are you? How is everyone? So, of course, as soon as I get on a live, this is what happens. We've got the Peppy, and Peppy wants to say, hey. All right. Get out of my clothes. He wants to say, hey. So, how you doing? All right. This is a live that talks about, I'm talking about my new ebook called How to Secure Media Coverage. Is that okay? Can you get down now? Hmm? Yeah, is that good? So one of the first things, all right, hey, one of the first things we're going to talk about is the who, what, when, where, and why. Anybody knows what that's about? Who, what, when, where, and why? Any journalists out there, it's like the first thing you have to learn when you're writing a press release or writing a story, who, what, when, where, and why. So the who is Pam Perry. I'm a publicist and I've been a publicist for a couple of decades. I used to work at some ad agencies, a couple of nonprofits, Salvation Army being one, basically publicist for ministry marketing for a couple of decades. And I love doing publicity, especially for those who have a message to get out there. So that's the who. What is the what? The what is the ebook, How to Secure Media Coverage. And I'm giving it away free to those who are in my Ready, Set, Go Speak program. Okay. Who, what, when? When? That's now, right now, right? But when do you get media? Whenever you pitch. They don't come looking for you. Whenever you pitch, that's when. Okay. And how? How do you get the coverage? Who do you target? What do you say? And what kind of tools do you give them? What is your PR kit that you need to have ready? All right. So I'm on StreamYard. I want to say hi to the folks over in Twitterland. Say hi to the folks over in YouTube land. And say hi to the folks over in Facebook. Tomorrow night, Veterans Day, I'm going to have a guest on that I'll be doing a LinkedIn Live. Yeah, I love doing all this social media stuff, but the main thing is PR. All right. So what is it? How do you get the coverage? What is the first thing that you need to do? Well, let's step back a little bit. So why PR? Why publicity? Why public relations? Why is that important? Why is it important to get PR? Now, I just said that I'm on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. I'll be on LinkedIn. I'm not on Instagram because Instagram doesn't sync up with StreamYard yet. But why do we want PR? One, for credibility. So I have a author that I'm working with, and she wanted to know, what could I put in that bio really, really quick? I'm submitted a call for speakers because I help my clients get speaking engagements. So she was submitting her call for speakers application. She says, but I only need 50 words and my bio is too long. What do I do? I said, well, put down who you are. What do you do? Who do you do it for? And then what is it that makes you stand out? What kind of awards have you gotten? Where have you been seen, shown, or have you been on CNN? Have you been in Essence? Have you been in Glamour magazine? I said, those are credibility things that you need to add to the bio. Besides who you are, what you do, who you do it for. Okay, that's great. And as seen on WWJ, as heard on CNN, as seen in Speakers Magazine, right? That's like one of the things you could say. So it positions you and it puts you above the fray. And I say above the fray, meaning like everybody can say that they're a life coach, they're a speaker, they're a motivational speaker, and I've done this and this and this. But the media is what's going to give you what they call street cred or credibility. So you want the visibility as well as credibility. And no shade to social media. Social media will give you great visibility, and you can post about yourself all day and post a whole lot of stuff. But the credibility comes when you're featured on the NBC, ABC, CBS station, or you in a daily newspaper, or you're front of the Black newspaper. Those are the things that make people say, she was in Rolling Up. She was on PBS. So if you were on PBS, hey, that is like the pillar of a lot of things because that adds that instant authority that you've been featured on PBS. Les Brown was on PBS. That's how we got to start. Wayne Dwyer, right? He was on Wayne Dyer. He was on PBS. There is a certain prestige that goes with PR that you can't get anywhere. If you were in Crane's magazine, Tammy, if she was on there, I saw Tammy Turner was in Crane's magazine last week. Or if you're on the cover of Glambitious, magazine, or if you're in Speakers magazine, right? It's one of the things that Jamie Foster Brown, or you were in Sister to Sister magazine, you can use that as bragging rights from the standpoint that, hey, that's where I was. If you've been on, hey, you can even be on Roland Martin's show, right? Black News Channel with Kelly Wright. Those are all great things to do. How do you do it? How do you secure the media? Well, one thing, you got to get your mind right. So in the Ready, Set, Go program, I talk about that. The first thing is getting your mind right. So yes, everybody wants to get on Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, and your market is not really that. Maybe you want to get on Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimball. You want to get on Conan. It's like all these different shows, right? But think about it. Somebody asked them, what's your media hit? Where do you want to go? I'm going to go on People Magazine. But you're a business coach. So think about the media in terms of what is your message and how does it fit? Those shows, Wendy Williams, are primarily entertainment celebrity and usually A-listers. So I was talking with the former TV anchor today, and she was telling me that she helps people with their sound bites. But a lot of the people who she's helping with the sound bites don't even consume the news. So they don't even know how to position themselves and how to sound. So that's so important. Have a nose for news by watching the news, paying attention to the news, know what's in your market. In my coaching program for Ready, Set, Go, Speak in the community, tomorrow night we're going to be talking about and helping them identify in their market certain media outlets that they need to target and what they need to pitch right away in order to who, what, when, where, and why. So that's the other one, like why. So the big thing in order to get coverage is the why. Who cares? Who cares about your story? Not that it was not a good story, but does their audience care? What is it for them? Tune into WIFFI, right? What's in it for me? So you want to know what's in it for them so that they can know the story. So that's when you hear the terms hook. What is the hook? Or what's the angle? Sometimes if you have a book, the book makes it real obvious of what the hook is going to be because your book will have a hook. But a lot of times you have to figure out the angle based on the media outlet that you're pitching to. Give an example. So WWJ is a 24-hour news station and it's in Detroit. So will someone in Los Angeles get on that? No, I doubt. I mean, unless it's some kind of national news that has a Detroit connection, right? But if you are a Detroit business, you may want to contact Vicki Thomas. And Vicki is doing a spotlight on minority business in Detroit. Or not just minority, just businesses in Detroit. And so that will be a really good hook if you're a business owner to contact her. And the reason why I know that is because one, I listened, and two, she told me. She's one of the interview experts in the Ready, Set, Go, Speak program because I interviewed her for about an hour and she's just fabulous. Her and Stephanie Davis and okay, now Randy, Bria, April, and Vincent. Did I fit any guy? And the Telegram publisher, right? Those are the ones that I interviewed, and I asked them quite frankly, what is it that you look for in a pitch? Because they are in business for news, and news comes because people pitch them stories. You ever been talking to someone and they're saying something to you, and they say, "Ooh, that's a really good story," and then maybe it's my journalism brain. I'm thinking like that could be good on such and such. And that's why people hire publicists because they match their clients with the right media because it's, oh, that would be perfect for. That'll be perfect for Impact TV, or that'll be perfect for Bishop Greg Davis's show, or that will be perfect for Black Enterprise. And I know the media contact there. That will be perfect for. So by knowing that, having a nose for news, knowing what it is that your story is and matching with the media is basically the main thing. So I really talked about why media, why you need media, but also your PR goals. What is it? Are you selling something? Are you selling a book? Are you trying to get people to go to your website? Are you trying to get consulting clients? Do you want to get your traffic up for your website? Are you trying to get people to opt in for your email list? I mean, there's a whole lot of strategy behind getting the PR. PR is like the fun part, but if there's no strategy behind it. So say, for instance, I won't do publicity for someone if they're not foundationally set up. Like they don't have a website. They don't have a good visual social media presence because the media will Google you and they'll ask like, okay. Yeah, what's going on with her? She don't even have a Facebook page, or they have 500 people on their Facebook page, so they must not be all what they say they are because they not even that's the social proof. That's why we use the social media. I'm not saying that you should spend all day in social media because I'm telling you it'll be like a black hole. Don't do it. Try and go above the fray in terms of what it is that you're trying to do with your PR plan. All right. What is it that you're trying to do? So the main thing is like try to figure out who it is that I'm trying to reach. And that's going to take some digging. So within your market, who are the main people? Who are the dailies? What are their beats? If you have a weekly, what do they cover? If there is a TV segment, what kind of segments do they have on the weekend? Community affairs, who's the director? Usually the community affairs directors, sometimes they have weekend shows. So by knowing that and speaking with someone on a regular basis about what's going on in media is how you're going to get media. So what are some of the PR toolkits that people need? What's in your PR toolkit? So when you want to get media coverage, you do need certain things when you come to the media. Don't just go like, hey, cover me. I got a good story, or I got a book. So, okay, so everybody got a book. Okay, that's not a big deal. So that's not coverage. So the first thing that you need, obviously, is great photos. Okay, especially if you're going to pitch some magazines, you need good photos. Nicole Roberts Jones has great photos. So she's going to be in a lot of magazines, international magazines as well. And also, too, if you're going to be on a podcast, the podcast people promote you. So you need to have a good photo because if your photo was jacked up, but you may have good information, they may not want to promote that you're going to be on their podcast. I'm just being real. Okay. So you just want to get some professional photos. If you need someone in terms of that, ready, set, go speak, we actually tell you of some great people. One of the ones in Detroit area, you want to go to Monica Morgan. Yes, she still does photos and she does fabulous photos. So Monica, shout out to you. The other person, another thing that you need besides the photo is a bio. So this bio has to be punchy. You need to have several ones. You need to have maybe one that's like 250 words. So they kind of get know a little bit more about you. Maybe one about 150, 125, maybe one about 50 words. And then even one where they can announce you where it's 25 words. Okay. So you need to have those things already ready in your toolkit so that they can cut and paste when they're doing things. Then also too, you need to have what they call show segments. What are you going to talk about? This is almost, if you're a speaker, almost like your speaking topics. So these are show topics, show segment topics, flushed out for them about what you will bring, what you will share, and what value will bring. That's it. That's what you do. Because a lot of times people say, I don't know what it is that I have to say. How do I pitch it? Whatever. So tomorrow, my Ready Set Go speak program, we're going to talk about what to say in a pitch. How do you say it? Don't just say, hey, I'm pitching you. Can you pick my story up? That's not what you say. And a lot of times it just depends on who you're talking to. But for the most part, the majority of the media that I've interviewed in the Ready Set Go speak program, they said brevity is the key. Just get right to the point. Forget the pleasantries. Yes, hey, how you doing? Wasn't the election just a trip? Blah, blah, this and that. What just get to the point. They got like 500 emails a day. They have press releases coming at them and they have to know how to sort the good ones, know how to sort through it really, really quick. So the subject line is important. And I show people in my new ebook on creative ways of how to really position themselves so they stand out above the crowd. So their emails get open. Then once they get open, they read the pitch. So another tool, you got the photo, you got the bio, and you have what I call a fact sheet. A fact sheet is something that's really perusal, where it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. So these are the fact sheets. This is the main points highlighted. All right. It's like I guess you would say when you're watching television, you say, we'll be right back. Next, we'll have such and such who will talk about the best ways to save money during a pandemic. Okay. It's those kind of sound bites that make people not turn away, switch the channel, but make people stay. And those are the sound bites. That's really becoming what I call a nose for news, or just really having coaching in terms of what it is that people are looking for when they're looking for news stories. So you've got the fact sheet and also just the basic facts. Like if you do have a book, what's the name of the book? Who's the publisher? How much it is? Because you don't want them digging through a whole bunch of stuff. Just have it in bullet point. Just give me the basics. And if you have some timeline things, you need to have timeline things written out because reporters like timelines and they like hard, fast facts. Okay, facts. Hard, fast facts. So a fact sheet is very important. A lot of people don't give fact sheets, but you do need a fact sheet. You also need a press release. Like I said, the who, what, when, where, why, and how in a very brevity is the key. Short, one page, two-page only if you may have a book that's over 400 pages or something like that, almost 300 pages at that point. But for the most part, even that should be in bullet points because no one likes to read all that narrative. They really want to scan. So think about someone who's scanning, speed reading, because they're the media, they're reading a lot of press releases and pitches all day long. They are reading it for nope, nope, no. Oh, okay. All right. Here's one. Okay, let's put to this side. And just because the media says no doesn't mean forever. It means not now. And then they put it aside. Okay. How often people always ask me, how often do we follow up? And so in the Ready Set Ghost program, I said, they said, I pitched someone, how long, so it just depends. I need to know the circumstance. How did you pitch it? What did you say? Was it a media that you knew, media that you didn't know? What were the other circumstances? I mean, 8, 9 times following up with someone that you don't know, probably they're not interested. Okay, just let it go. There's so many other media out there. So, what other things do you, when you want to get media coverage or a winning pitch? Let me go over here to, I'm gonna go over here to Facebook. Yeah, let's see. I did hit Facebook, didn't I? Yeah, I hit Facebook. What's going on with my Facebook? So I hit Facebook and I don't see myself over here in the Facebook. Oh, yeah, here I am. It says, okay, well, whatever. The other thing too is like, so in a winning pitch, obviously doing the research of who it goes to, what is it that they like, providing the right tools, the right information. And in your kit, you also need, if you're a speaker, which is who I work with primarily, you need some kind of video. Duh. If they want you, especially if you're pitching a television station, they want to know how you're going to look on television, how you're going to sound. If you don't have that, then at least send them a podcast so you know how you're going to sound. So that's really, really important for them because they need to know that. The other part that you just want to make sure that I cover in my little ebook here is like creative engagement strategies of how to get the media's attention. Now, a lot of times people don't accept gifts, but when I was doing when I did PR for McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts and things like that. So when there was National Donut Day or National Coffee Day or National whatever hamburger day, obviously the pitch that would be we would just stop by, we would drive to the local TV, radio, and newspapers and drop off food because it was appropriate at that time. If it was National Donut Day, you would know that ABC, NBC, CBS, CW stations were going to get some donuts. All right. And it was from Dunkin' Donuts. And so they would just kind of say on the news, whatever, it's this National Donut Day, Dunkin' Donuts. Now, was Krispy Kreme doing that as well? Probably not, because Dunkin' Donuts was always there. That's what we did. All right. McDonald's, the same thing. And that's probably why they're kind of like the number one brands, right? So doing the extra about above and beyond usually helps. Yes, it rises above the noise so that you can make a splash. The other thing, too, is really if you don't have a real media connection and you want to pitch them, sometimes you can just ask if this is okay. I don't want people to feel afraid of the media, but it's okay to ask their opinion. Is this an appropriate story for your publication? Is this an appropriate story for your station? I want to talk about A, B, C, and D. And they'll tell you yes or no. Yes, that's a good one. No, it's not. So those are the type of things that you want to do. So I didn't want to be on here too long. Basically, I just want to announce how to get media coverage. It's fun. It sets you apart. It's not a thing to be afraid of. If you do want to have someone to hold your hand and walk you through it, I'm here to help you be ready, set, go. So you can go and speak it. And the other part I didn't really talk about was the sound bites, but that's a whole nother thing. I'm going to have in our community a young lady who is an Emmy Award winning broadcaster, and she's going to talk to the community about how to show up virtually and on stage and in front of the television camera. Okay, because she did it for a few decades. So she's going to be doing that as well. So I just want to say that if you're really serious, you're ready to get going, I'll see you over there. That's one of the things that we do. We make sure that you get everything that you need in terms of how to pitch, what to say, how to find the right media leads, how to put together the right materials. The other thing, this is AP style book. I don't know if people still have them, but we capitalize so many things in over. Sometimes when you're pitching a reporter, if it's written so bad, they'll throw it away. I don't care how good the story is. So you need not to overcapitalize. You need to know where to put the right punctuation. You need to know when to underline, when to italics. Don't italicize everything. Please don't write a press release in first person. I mean, there's just so many things that I can really help people with. It's like, you know what? This was a good story, but it was so wrong that they felt like because you didn't take the time to figure out how to write a right press release that you probably wouldn't know really that your credibility was lost with them. So certain things that I look at immediately and I can say, you need to change this, you need to change that. Because I've done PR for besides organizations for different personal brands like Bishop Jakes, Creflo Dollar, Dr. Stacia Pierce, Valerie Burton, Michelle McKinney Hammond. And their stuff was never, before I start pitching them, their stuff was always tight and right. That's why people are like, well, how do they get so much? Well, their stuff was tight. And so in order to get coverage, it needs to be tight and right. Can't be raggedy and looking like, oh, I'm just so desperate and thirsty. I want to get on your station. You've got to learn how to really pay attention, get a coach if you don't know how, and really understand that you have a really good story. Okay. That you have a good story and that your main thing is that you want to get that story out because that helps them. The better story you have, the better they're going to show up for their constituents, for their boss. They may even win an Emmy if it's a really great story. So when you look at something like a PBS that we have connections with, you want to make sure that your story has enough meat to it. All right. And that's one of the main things. So, like I said, in your PR toolbook, photos, reviews, testimonials, bios, fact sheet, contact information, and the release, the who, what, when, where, and why. All right. Okay. So that's it. I don't know what's going on with Facebook, StreamYard. Did I not hit the right one? But whether that is the case or not, I don't know what's going on. In another half an hour or so, my husband's going to be on doing a Facebook Live too with Black United Fund, which is celebrating their 50 years above. So with that, I will talk with you all later. Thanks for listening. And if you need any help, you know where to go. Ready, set, go, speak. Take care. Bye-bye.